until boost made it a weapon. They used to call it slow, cheap and forgettable. Just another economy car sitting in traffic. Nothing special, nothing dangerous. In the early days, the Honda Civic wasn't respected, it was mocked. It became the symbol of the racer era, where style mattered more than speed, and the internet turned it into a joke. Loud exhausts, wild body kits, and stickers everywhere made people assume it would always stay that way. But while everyone was laughing, something else was happening in the background. Builders started picking them up because they were cheap, light, and easy to work on. No one cared about them, so no one was watching what they were becoming. And that's where the story actually begins, because underneath the jokes and the memes, the Civic wasn't staying slow for long. As more people began pushing the platform further, a pattern started to emerge. The engines hidden beneath the hood had far more potential than anyone expected. What started as a cheap commuter car was revealing itself to be something entirely different. But there was one problem. Almost nobody was paying attention. While V8s dominated magazines and icons like the Supra captured the spotlight, Honda builders were often dismissed as amateurs chasing impossible numbers with economy cars. The platform had potential, but potential alone wasn't enough. The Civic had a reputation working against it. To most enthusiasts, speed was measured in cylinders. More cylinders meant more power. More power meant more respect. And the Civic had neither. No matter how much progress builders made, the same question kept coming back. Why waste time modifying a Honda? It was a challenge that couldn't be solved with a body kit or a louder exhaust. If the Civic was going to earn respect, it would have to prove itself where excuses disappeared. On the street, on the dyno, and most importantly, at the drag strip. That's when the B series began turning heads. Lightweight, high revving, and far more capable than anyone expected, it became the foundation of a growing movement. For the first time, people were starting to realise these cars weren't just transportation. Then came the K series. And everything changed. The K20 and K24 quickly earned a reputation that few four-cylinder engines had ever achieved. Reliable, affordable, and capable of handling enormous amounts of power, they became the weapon of choice for builders across the world. If the 2JZ had become the king of six-cylinder tuning, the K-Series was becoming its four-cylinder counterpart. Suddenly Civics weren't just showing up at car meets, they were showing up at drag strips, roll racing events, dynos. Records began falling and expectations began rising. Turbochargers grew larger, fuel systems became more advanced, engine bays transformed into laboratories where builders searched for every last horsepower. What had once been considered an economy car was now producing numbers that rivaled dedicated performance machines. And perhaps the most surprising part wasn't the power itself, it was where that power was coming from. While manufacturers chased larger engines and more cylinders, Honda builders were extracting incredible performance from compact four-cylinders. Cars that many people dismissed as starter vehicles were now capable of outrunning machines that cost several times more. The reputation of the Civic was beginning to change, slowly at first, then all at once. Every record broken, every giant killer street build, every impossible dyno sheet pushed the platform further from its old image. The word racer was becoming harder to say when a Civic was disappearing into the distance. By the late 2000s and beyond, the transformation was impossible to ignore. AWD conversions, sequential transmissions, massive turbo setups, and 4-digit horsepower figures had become reality. What started as an underdog had evolved into one of the most feared platforms in the automotive world. The joke hadn't just ended, it had become the benchmark. But unlike most performance legends, the Civic didn't earn that title through exclusivity. It wasn't rare, it wasn't expensive, and it certainly wasn't designed to be a supercar. In fact, the Civic's greatest strength was the very thing people mocked it for in the beginning. It was everywhere. For decades, millions of Civics rolled off assembly lines around the world. They filled parking lots, school campuses, driveways, and city streets. To most people, they were simply transportation. But to enthusiasts, that abundance meant opportunity. Parts were everywhere, engines were everywhere, knowledge was everywhere. If one builder discovered something new, thousands of others could learn from it. And over time, an entire ecosystem began to form around the platform. Forums became classrooms. Garages became workshops. The Civic wasn't being developed by a single company. It was being developed by an entire community. That's what separated the Civic from so many of its competitors. The story was never just about horsepower. It was about accessibility. For many enthusiasts, a Civic wasn't their dream car. It was their first car. The first engine they worked on. The first transmission they removed. The first project that taught them how machines actually worked. Long before social media made builds famous, countless enthusiasts spent late nights in garages learning through trial and error. Some failed, some quit, some blew up engines. But every mistake became part of the platform's evolution. The Civic didn't succeed because it was the most powerful. It succeeded because it could become almost anything. Every generation left its mark. Every builder added another chapter. And that's why, decades later, the Civic still refuses to fade away. Not because it's the fastest car ever made, not because it's the rarest, but because it represents something enthusiasts understand better than anyone: potential. For years, people laughed at the Civic because they judged it by what it was. The builders who changed its reputation judged it by what it could become. And that difference changed everything. The engines evolved, the technology evolved, the performance evolved, but the mindset never did. Take something ordinary, improve it, push it further, refuse to accept its limits. Because in the end, the Civic's evolution was never really about horsepower. It was about proving people wrong, about taking the car nobody believed in. The Civic didn't become a legend because Honda built it that way. It became a legend because enthusiasts did. And that's how the car, once known as a joke, became one of the most respected platforms in automotive history.